Nazanin's husband, Richard, is here with us again this morning. Oh, Richard, it just feels like it's inching along, doesn't it, with some heartfelt moments over the last fortnight. Having met yesterday, what are your feelings now? Are you positive?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's actually felt like it's snowballed, in all honesty, the past couple of weeks. And yes, it culminated yesterday. We met with the Foreign Secretary. He was, I gave him more an hour of his time. He was warm, he was positive. He said, listen, it's going to be complicated, but, you know, I will leave no stone unturned, and absolutely I can assure you that Nazanin's my top priority. One
of the things you really wanted the last time we spoke last week was you wanted him to use his position to get you out there to speak directly, because you've had your visa's somehow
stalled.
Not appeared. Yeah, it's stalled, the process stalled. Has he given you any sign that he can do that? Because that is something he could do, isn't it?
Well, so he certainly was positive. He said, listen, I'm keen. I'm discussing with my officials, we're discussing with the Iranians. So he apologised for how long it had taken to meet. And then we talked about, you know, what would happen next. And how
but he didn't apologise for saying that she was teaching journalists rather than saying that she was on holiday?
No, we didn't focus on that.
Why not? Why didn't you go? Because if I was you, you're such a reasonable and nice person. I'd be absolutely raging, and I'd go in there and say, Boris, what on earth were you thinking? This has been so sensitive. Why did you blunder in and say that?
Well, I mean, in fairness, so Nazanin asked me to give a message, which wasn't around what he said, but it was to say that, listen, you do know what it's like having to watch myself on television every night in Iran, where they bring out this new propaganda and so on, and they use your words. Please bring an end to this. So she wanted me to pass on that message, which I did. Yeah, we'll...
Do you think at some point, though, Richard, that because as Kate said, you are so considered and being so calm about this, and you know, maybe that's why you have managed to get to where we are now, but you need to sort of up the ante slightly and kind of go, stop being calm about it and start saying, right, for heaven's sake, Boris, pull your finger out, sort this out. This has escalated because you've not been strong enough for us, you've not been direct enough for us, and we need to get Nazanin out, and we need to get her out now. So
I thought I was pretty clear with the Foreign Secretary that we need to get her out now, and that it's urgent, and that her health is not great. You know, aside before we talked about sort of having discovered lumps in her breast, but actually just mentally. It's been going so long, so frustrating. I mean, when she talks about being on the verge of a nervous breakdown, watching again every day herself, it's just really relentless and tough. So I think he was clear about that, and he was clear about how important she is.
There's some talk, isn't there, that he might be able to create some kind of diplomatic status for her. What would that give you? What would that hope? What would
so
that
he was
lead
more
to?
Cautious about it. So it's called diplomatic protection, and diplomatic protection is essentially where you say, rather than just being an individual with a consular case, we're going to say this is actually now she's sort of almost a part. This is Britain being injured because, and actually it's not just about how the individual can be helped, but actually we want to get a solution for this as an individual. And obviously it's quite a big deal in terms of diplomacy. So I asked, and I'm pressing for it, and he was like, well, I'm not sure. And the Foreign Office we're not sure, but we promised to meet with the lawyers.
What would stop them doing that?
I think they would be concerned about the reaction and how Iran would react, whether it was helpful. So legally there's a question whether you can do it. I think we can. Practically, it's what would be the consequence of doing it. So
because it feels like she's being used already by the Iranians. And if you were to poke the wasp's nest, as it were, then that's only going to sort of put her in a more vulnerable position. From your perspective, why do you think it could be the way forward?
I just think it's really important that the government stands up for Nazanin. And so the Foreign Secretary taking the case on, going out there is really important. The Foreign Secretary going out there with me is really important. The Foreign Secretary going out there with me, with her having diplomatic protection, that's sort of triply important.
Yeah. Have they given you any sort of timescale, Richard?
No, I mean, thought this year. And they're looking at it. I don't think it's happening at the weekend. And he said, we'll be in touch and see how it develops.
Gosh, that must be so hard to emotionally pace yourself when all you want to be able to do is think, they'll be home for Christmas, they'll be home now, you know. How are you managing to do that?
Well, so for me, that's right. I'm focusing on Christmas and let's get them home for Christmas. That's still a few weeks away. And it's important that I try and keep it calm for Nazanin until, you know, it will all be OK. I know it all feels like it's all snowballing, but let's hope that's a good thing.
Well, we will keep our fingers crossed. I mean, every step you're taking is a step in the right direction. And let's hope that can continue and build a pace for you. Thanks for joining us again.